Before I get started.
So please stand up to be acknowledged. I would like to acknowledge members of the team. Dr. Angelo, who is our expert in wastewater engineering. Dr. Arnold Bertrand, also wastewater engineering. Engineer Apo Suplido, our potential partner in Salit Forum. Of course, our Food and Water Institute Director, Dr. Mel Garcia, and of course the support of our administrator of DOST-STII University, our Vice Chancellor for Research Innovation, Professor Raymond Tan.
So is there a specific kind of wastewater that would be best in terms of yielding more phosphorus for fertilizer? I mean, because here in the Manila Polo Club, it's particularly horsey, right? The wastewater. But if you go to St. Luke's, that's all medical waste, and so are we talking industrial, residential? What kind of waste are we talking about that would be best for getting the phosphorus out of the wastewater and putting it into fertilizer?
So ideally, it would depend on the wastewater, but the most important characters should be high in nutrients. In this case, phosphorus and nitrogen. Okay. Now, the way we approach the problem is, in fact, we would like first to address the issue in the urban areas where domestic wastewater will be the main problem. Why? As you may know, if you look at the life cycle of phosphorus, while we mine phosphorus, okay, from Morocco, China, these are non-renewable resources. And we use this as fertilizer to grow our crops. These foods that we eat, of course, this phosphorus will be ingested and be part of our human excreta. And this is the part of the polluted load, which if we are properly managed, obviously it will be harmful to the environment. This is what you see now about eutrophication. This actually is the phosphorus pollutant. Now, the other side of the coin is actually looking at the food security. Because since this is a non-renewable resource, we have to look at the long-term approach on why we are doing this kind of recovering phosphorus. It's because phosphorus crisis will be coming. I'm not a doomsayer here, but it's like our oil crisis a couple of decades ago. And food security will be a big problem. When oil crisis is equivalent to climate change, the food crisis will be, of course, equivalent to the phosphorus crisis. So why not recover, manage this phosphorus, this important nutrient at our backyard? And hopefully, of course, it will address our problem on food security and help our farmers to really use this what you call the next-gen fertilizer.
That's excellent, because I'm a little worried should we ever run out of food in this country. As an armchair historian, I believe the only reason we haven't had a civil war is because we've always had enough food. What would be the one leadership lesson from this project you think you could communicate to young Filipino scientists?
So I assume I'm already old because I'm now giving advice to young scientists. So it
happens to everyone. It's all right.
So it's a Miss Universe question. I think the first one is this is my motto actually. I always think big. We should think big, think global. That's why we can rationalize. That's why we need interdisciplinary study. We need collaborators, not only from here in the Philippines but from outside the country. Because we have to think big. We have to think the global issue. That is the strategy so that we can really innovate. Because if you look at the short term, obviously we are solving problems that have been solved by other countries. We have to move forward and think big. So that's one. And of course, with our limited budget, with our limited resources, we have to start small. So that we will not be overwhelmed with these problems. And as a young scientist, as the future young scientist, like Engineer Carla, I forgot to mention her name. She's also part of my team. She's my research assistant, which is been involved actively as the early career researcher in this program. And it's really an honor that in this program we are able to train Carla. So think big and start small. I think after that you can go somewhere.
Think big, start small, and go somewhere.
For example, go to UK.
Yeah, that's always a good option. Thanks very much. So, no, you're not done yet. Someone might want to ask It's almost over. Does anyone want to ask a question? Yes, please, Dr. Arcelia, please approach the mic.
Sir Kaloy, dahan-dahan ha.
Yeah, you said that we were working together 20 years ago, right? On Payatas.
Oh, so I was talking to the wrong old scientist.
Anyway, of course, wastewater is important, but we have a bigger problem than both energy and the water source. They are related. The only option for water, you cannot put clean water and basically you cannot do that. I mean, the volumes are just small. And the potential sources are either at a big dam in the east side, where the mountains are, or you can desalinate.
And your question would be?
So the question is, how do you balance this? Because this will require energy, especially desalination. Can you comment on this? And then, according to what you want.
That's a very good question, Sir Kaloy. Actually, that's why the title is Water, Energy, Newton Agham, because what we envision is not actually a project, it's a research program. And these are the questions that we are trying to address. So right now, what we did is we first do the DOST-STII. This is what we call life cycle assessment. And you're correct. Currently, we have been called a current STP, of course, focused on it's technical biological removal, DOT. And right now, the current regulation, of course, now enforces this Newton removal. But in order to retrofit this wastewater treatment plant, and of course, comply with the regulation, it will add energy costs. So this is actually a trade-off that we need to study further. But you're correct, there is no such as free lunch. When you try to recover phosphorus, definitely you have to invest some energy. And that's why we have to be a system speaker. Try to look at the big picture and how we can intervene so that we can solve this in a sustainable way.
So it just started small, but we're thinking big.
Yeah.
And eventually this is going to go somewhere.
Yeah, but I think we have to address this question.
All right. Thanks very much. No, there is no more time. I've got two more scientists who are equally as passionate and on fire. Again, movie trailer, not the full movie. This is not one of those Filipino movie things, right? So thanks very much, Mike. And I'm sure people will come and ask questions during the break.